Alright, here's the tools we're going to use to install the fish finder. Got our drill, impact driver, zip ties, electrical tape, connectors again, marker, drill, lighter, some drill bits, and our crimping tools. Obviously, our fish finder. Start with this. Let's get it out. This is the power cord. It plugs into the back, ties into the battery. Probably have to figure that out a little more. I've got to read up what goes to what. Assuming the one with the fuse obviously is going to be a power, and black being a ground, but other than the other two, I'm not too sure about. Figure that out. It's getting a little dark. We might get finished up tomorrow. So here's what we're looking at. There's two potential places. The first one they originally had mounted here with a ram mount, and the wires came back and around, and a fairly clean thing. Unfortunately, the Garmin with the mount on it seems like it just sits far out, and I'd like it to really sit here nice and tight up there. I can still use the same holes, and eventually we plan on painting this. It's like a cream color now, and depending on what color we go with the color of the interior, the color scheme inside the boat here might deter that a little bit, but it'll sit like this for a while. So let me get this clamped up, get it figured out, and then see what we come up with. Alrighty. So, like I said, the mount, if we do it this way, it's kind of got the gap. You can kind of see, it doesn't sit flush, kind of looks goofy. I know it's kind of temporary. I'm not sure if ram mounts makes a exact connector that kind of the ball to the Garmin just goes on. That'd be super handy. Maybe we'll do some research on that before we do our final mounting of it. Over here it sits nice and flush. It's got a good view. It's got a good view from the operator seat here. Doesn't get in the way of anything. Still reach all your controls. Still see all your gauges. Not really sure though. I lean towards putting it here. If I did get the mount, it'd be kind of nice because it's nice, easy on, easy off. Not that the mount that comes with this one's too hard to get off. It comes with a puck that kind of pulls the whole unit out too once you kind of leave it there, so it just leaves the kind of puck. But then you got to come through, and we'll have to drill holes into the boat there and get some sort of, best we can, weatherproof connector back down there. Over here we can potentially, like I said, see if they have a mount for it. Maybe we'll look on Ram's website tonight before we fully commit to screwing that down. But that's kind of where we're at. It's getting a little dark, getting a little late. Got to get the kiddos to bed. So I think we'll pick up in the morning. Alright guys, the next day we're back. A little less wind, a little more light. That's great. I've got the cable coming through, as we can see in the picture here. Come through and we'll get it pulled through. There we go. And our new spot we're going to be drilling for this mount, it's going to be up here. It's kind of a tight, congested area. We got all of the switch panels. Let me zoom up a little bit, hang on. Alright, a little dark in there. So we got the control box, remote control for the motor. We got all the switches for the boat, and we're going to mount it right on top. So I've went ahead and I've already took off the clips. They all broke naturally, just being old and out in the sun and brittle. And now we're going to pull the switch panel out a little bit. That'll ensure we're not drilling in anything we don't need to be drilling into. While we're down here, you can see there's you know, there's wing nuts and wires that just go to random stuff. Here's speaker wires right here that are just twisted together. Nothing's done with them. Everything's loose and frilling around. How we do it, we're gonna get rid of, let me zoom out a little bit. All the wires through the middle of the floor there, we'll end up just running them, redoing everything, and putting them over through the hole in the helm there. And I think that's probably the best way to do that, just up and over and out of the way. And this originally is set up for sliding an ice chest into. My wife likes to put her purse and her bag and all that kind of stuff in there now, and so we'll probably end up leaving it as that. So another thing they have on this one, this is where the this is where the live well, get my camera to work for me. Nope, not cooperating. This is the live well, and you can also use it as an ice chest, so it's not very big, but you know, we probably won't have very much live fish and all that kind of stuff in there anyway, so haven't fully decided. I mean, obviously there's still, you know, plenty of room for cooler, you know, here, and so we'll kind of figure out if what we're going to do with that, but still nice to have the option to put fish in there that you catch, keep them fresh for the day. So alrighty, so we're gonna get started here. Don't need our power cable quite yet, so like I said, we're gonna use the 3 screws that came with it. This is the mount that pulls off. These come apart. That'll be the mounting plate. So if we end up having it here, we can end up taking the mount off itself. You probably store it for like winter time. You don't really need to leave the fish finder on. It's electronic. There's really no reason to leave it out and about and to be used. Eventually I'd probably like to find a cover for it. I haven't found one yet from Bass Pro to be able to leave it on for like summertime and leave it on stuff like that. But so this is where we're probably going to mount it, somewhere right about in here. And so this is the switch panel. I popped the clips. They're all these style of clips here. But we'll be able to pull this out of the way. This will be a double duty too. I've got the horn on this isn't working, so we can kind of diagnose with the horn switch out. But with this far enough out, I can drill the holes through and know that I'm not going to go through it. And then same thing back here, where the cables will come up through the helm. You see the helm's cracked. We're going to end up, like I said, once we start redoing this boat, is probably change the color of it and come through, get rid of all the stress cracks, do a little fiberglass work, and get it back looking good again. So, alright, so this task we're going to need our mark there. We're going to get a pencil, and we'll mark the 3 holes, and the directions I gave you. I know reading directions is crazy, but need a focus there. No, not really. It says you need an 1/8 inch hole, so we'll grab an 1/8 inch drill bit, we'll drill down, and then we'll run the screws in. Probably end up drilling it. I'm going to have to run to the store, back down to my other boats. The big downfall with working on 2 boats in 2 different locations, although it's close, I don't have my 5200 marine grade sealant there, and as you can see right below that is all the switch panels, and you really wouldn't want water dripping down on that. So we're going to seal that sucker in pretty good around all the holes and just sandwich a goop of the stuff underneath there and hope for the best, essentially. So Doesn't get a lot of water there, but it doesn't hurt to have it sealed up, take that little extra measure. So, hang tight, let me get a pencil, and we'll be right back. Alright, so I've got our pencil. I'm going to lay this out as square as possible. Mark our 3 spots. Set that to the side. If you guys don't have one of these, it's a drill index. It's got all sorts of different sizes of drill bits. Good thing to have. So we're looking for the 1/8 of an inch. Just use that guy. Okay. We're going to do a test fit on these just to make sure they're lined up before we use the 5200 on it. That looks great. So now the next thing we'll do is, I might just put a couple screws in there. In that drill, please. I'm going to run 2 screws in it, and that way to hold it in place. Just run those all the way tight. That way when we try out the fish finder, just make sure where it's at, and then we're going to drill the hole for the cables to come through. And so these just has a clip mount, goes in one side, locks in the back, and then this piece just pushes in, locks in, it can be adjusted. And that's how we're going to have it there. Now the cables, we're going to use this step drill bit again, made by Irwin. We're going to go to the 3/8, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4th one down. That'll be the 3/8. Most of the cables are now they're not very large. 3/8, 7/16. Maybe down to a 7/16 or so, maybe even a 1/2 inch. The nice thing is you can start them. If it doesn't fit, run them back through again, pull them back out, and you can widen the hole out without having too much hassle, too much worry. And these can be used in all sorts of stuff. I've used them for fiberglass, used them for metal, but they work really good for that. So we got this where we want it. I'll load this drill bit in. And this, you just want something close by and just down and out of the way. Quick up and quick out. Here's our pilot hole. I'll pull this out so you guys can see. There we go. So we're at 3/8 right now. Just 7/16. And then to the 1/2. This will be the same way. We're going to try to get it sealed up. So let's do a little test fit. See how that goes. And that fits no problem. So that'll be perfect. Alright, with that temper in the way, let's run the cables for this. I'm going to take this guy off out of the way for now. And since this is opened up, accessible, instead of me trying to fit down there, I'll just push this one through. And I don't know how much cable we need in there, and we'll zip tie up the excess. Feed the rest of the power wire down. Did read up, the red is power, the black is ground, and then the other two, the brown and the blue, are going to be for data communications, and we're not going to be using those. We only have the one device, so I think you'd share it to like a different screen or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. So, but nothing will have, nothing will do. So there's that. And then I'm going to climb down underneath, and we're going to try to get to the cable, and we'll feed that one up and through. Probably the same thing. We'll just kind of feed it up here. It's easier, and then kind of go from there. And then any excess, once again, we'll just kind of zip tie together. All right, kill it, Lorelei. Alrighty, got the cables up and through. Ended up having to drill that out a little bit bigger, almost about 3/4 of an inch, to accommodate for the width of the cable plus the plug. So now we're gonna push the Garmin back on, and we're gonna plug everything in. I guess we can do it without it in there. Got the power cord and then the transducer cord. And power cord has the red end on it, and it's got the little groove here. Plug that one in. And the transducer, same way. It's got different style setup, so it's flat on one side and then grooved on the other, so you can't put it in wrong. And then we're gonna take this, slide it in place, that way we know where we're at. Leave the two rubber pieces up here because we're gonna need them. I got a little another piece of that 3/8 wire loom, and we're just gonna feed the 3/8 wire loom. Put a little tape on that. Kind of keeps everything together. Make it a little easier to set the loom up on it. Once again, I don't know if you need a loom on it, but we've got it. It'll help protect it go through, and it'll help shorten up that hole where we have it. It doesn't hurt to try to protect the cables a little bit, so we'll feed that down through there. There we go. That's pretty good. We're going to end up pulling this out just a little bit here, and then we're going to tape it all the way around. This will help keep water out of the cable. I'm just going to tape enough to get past where it goes through the helm here, and then that's it. She's installed. So we're going to leave these on because in winter time we'll take the unit off and store it indoors, and kind of go from there. So I'm going to leave the fuse or switch panel out. Like I said, we're going to check the horn button. I'm not sure if that horn's working. One of the easiest ways to do it is just take the two pieces of the horn out and just try jumping them. I checked the fuse already. The fuse is good, but as you see that kind of dodgy wiring down there, it's kind of hard to say how it's wired if it's wired very well. So we're going to try that and see what that happens here. But first, we're going to go down there and we're going to get wired up for the fish finder, and we'll give it a test run in demo mode and see what it looks like. All right. All right, guys, we're underneath the helm. It's very tight quarters in here for a pretty decent sized guy. So we're gonna pull some wiring. Come back on the back of the fuse panel, wire up the fish finder. So these wires are just dangling off the live fuse. I'll check to see if the fuse is still good in them. You can see, but that one's good. Some of the wiring in here is just, like I said, it's awful. Just jumbled together and pieced together, and definitely want to go through and clean it up, streamline a little bit. Even looking at gauges on the back side here, same way, they're just kind of just thrown together and pretty trashy looking. So get that fixed. So I came through, I've already put a couple ends on the positive and the negative, and so the negative is going to go directly into the negative bar on the fuse panel, fuse block, and the power we're going to just tie back into one of these guys. Like I said, we'll probably be switching it out. I put a new panel on my open bow boat, and it's a really nice panel. We'll probably end up doing the same thing here. So now we got this in, we're gonna tidy up some of these wires up here. That transducer wire barely fit. I mean, it is at, it's not taut, it's not pulling on it by any means, but it is right there. So we're gonna come through, tidy up some of these wires right quick with some zip ties, and kind of just clean up a little bit. Also, while we're in here, got stuff like this. We'll put some tape around it for the time being, but not how I like to do things. So tape these guys up first. Like I said, I plan on redoing all the speaker wire and doing all the new wiring for the stereo and putting a new stereo and all that kind of stuff in it, new speakers. So really just going through it all. And it being speaker wire, I'm not concerned, but just definitely not the way to do it. So we'll put a band-aid on it. They don't short out to each other and have an issue out while you're on the water. So the power's there. We ran that through this antenna cord. We put a new antenna in and haven't fully done it. Then we'll be down here again, so let's throw some zip ties in. I'm just going to curl this one up because it's decently long, but we just want it up and out of the way is the big thing. So I don't want to slide stuff in here to catch and have bigger issues, and start causing more headaches and more hassles and more problems with my cutters. There we go. Trim some of these up. Okay. So the wire from the fish finder, I'm going to zip tie the wire, power wire, and the transducer wire together. That way they stay together. And then the same thing with the power wire for that one. We're just going to kind of coil it up and get it out of the way. That way it's not dragging on anything and looks a little nicer. So I ended up taping the brown and the blue wire just to the cord so they're up all the way. Said I have no intentions of ever using them, but you want to kind of protect them anyway in case. I'm not sure if the fish finder sends out a signal of some sort. Not 100% sure how that all works, but don't want to chance it, so I just taped everything up. Okay. Trim all the tails. I can't stand when they leave tails on there. Zip ties are fairly affordable. It seems insane to leave them on there and think you're going to take them off, and let's just face it, by the time you actually came to it and wanted to actually do that, it would be ruined anyway. So dry rot and rotted out and whatever. So these are the speaker wires and the power wires. Like I said, we're gonna probably just throw a couple zip ties on them to tidy them up a little bit. And like I said, eventually when we go through to tear it all out and redo it, definitely going to be moving the wires, put them back through the helm entrance there. I'm not 100% sure why somebody would do that, but I'd say fast and convenience, but you're literally, you know, 1.5 feet away from it, from the entrance there for all the cables. And this one you'd have had to drill a hole and epoxy it and go down the list, so I'm not sure why. Alrighty, so we're all plugged in. Fire this guy up. We're going to do the demonstration for now just because we're not in water and you really shouldn't turn them on. And we'll see if we can see the screen there. Kind of dark or light, too light. Quick little view, probably a little blurry. Try to do one a little later. Gets a little dark. There's a split screen. It's got a bunch of different options, which is kind of cool. Kind of configure everything. I'm not sure what clear view is, but like I said, I've not really dealt with it before, but looks kind of cool. So yeah, that's it. Last thing to do would be tear it apart and put the 5200 on it, and we're gonna have to run to the store and pick some up, or run down to the shop and see if we have some there. So until then, that'll be it for this video, and we will see you guys on the next one. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share. Alright guys, real quick before we kick off again, upcoming projects are going to be a water impeller to install. There's the gaskets for that. I'm going to put an inline fuel filter after the primer bulb and get that installed. I have an oil change to do. We're going to go do a walkthrough of all that. We get this new flag to install, ski flag. It clips to the side of the rail there and kind of just swings and closes down when you're not in use. Pretty handy, pretty cool. Here's the contact for that. This guy's out of Colorado, which is pretty cool too. Like sporting local if we can. Next thing we have is the Minn Kota Deckhand 40. It's the pontoon package. So it comes with the extra cables and comes with mounts and switches and different stuff like that. And got the 30-pound anchor. New anchor for it as well. Could have gone 40. I always feel like you're kind of just pushing it a little too much with it. 40, and you throw a 30 on it, you're a little on the safer side. So we'll do some unboxing of the Minn Kota, and I'll walk around right quick and show you kind of where we're thinking about installing that guy. They sell kits for them. I feel like the kits are touch bit of a rip off. We're going to end up doing is getting some aluminum angle, and we're going to bolt it up through the floor. I'm going to catch all 3 of these on both sides, and then come out, and the mount itself will sit right about here, right in front of the boat. And so anchor winch will sit here. And one thing I was concerned with, the door, I might have to put a little stop or something here, stop that door from coming in and hitting it. But that's where we want to put it. And it looks like we'll have the clearance all the way back, as long as we're not too low, which we won't. It'll sit kind of on top of, right here's where those bars will come out. I don't think I'll have to notch that from the looks of it, but maybe if we do, we'll grind it out with a grinder or something. But that's kind of upcoming projects on this one in the immediate near future. Unfortunately, we got a harassment letter from the HOA. Gotta love HOA about not having the boat here. I've got till May 10th or something, May 11th to get it out of here, and we're gonna get a handful of things done prior to that. So keep looking out for new videos coming. Like I said, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share, send some comments, any ideas and thoughts or anything you see. Like I said, I'm not an expert by any means. Another upcoming stuff is we'll do the tires, obviously. Talked about in the previous videos. I've got a thermostat to put in. Got to still order it. I'm gonna go down to the boat shop. They're not open until Tuesday. It's currently Sunday now, and we're gonna work on this tank. Put a new sending unit in it, new pickup tube right over there, and a new cap. I cleaned that all out at the end of last year. Was the first time we used it. The float was all corroded and crusty and rusty and dropping into the tank, and so we're gonna go through and give that all a good fix there. So that'll be it for the video, and like I said, keep looking up. We got some good maintenance stuff coming up, new tips and tricks with trying to mount this Minn Kota 40 deckhand automatic anchor winch. Alrighty, we'll see you guys in a bit.